There we go.
Okay.
All right. Well, here we are. Couldn't get the record button to push. Anyway, so hello, this is Melissa Shaw with Our Generation, where we educate, empower, and inspire. And I'm super excited about my guest tonight, Miss Ebony Highbaugh. But before I bring her on, and so she could tell her story, I just wanted to share a little bit about what I've been doing for the past week, um, and just some things, some thoughts that have been on my mind. But before I do that, because I always end up forgetting if I wait to the end, is I want to give a shout out to P30. Thank you for allowing me to utilize this space. If you have not come here, you should. It's off of 30th and Post. It's a dope co-working space, and they offer a lot of resources. Isn't your coffee here?
Not yet. It's on its way.
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, you'll be able to check her
Be looking
coffee
out.
out, but we'll talk more about that later. But I also wanted to mention Purple Ribbon Office Solutions. They're another co-working space off of 56 and Sunnyside, and they're doing a lot in the community. Also, they have it's called Purple Ribbon Minority Women's Organization, where they do community baby showers, they do community events, and they have different programs to help with moms and children. And then I also want to shout out, obviously, Farm Free Life. We are not here today. We're not there today. We're here. But I also want to shout them out because they have some dope ass drinks. And I haven't been there this week, so I will be making a stop in there tomorrow because I miss it. My favorite is butter. I get the lavender vanilla chai. And then here recently, I have been getting it's vanilla cardamom. Did I pronounce that right? I never. It's some type of tea, but I never can pronounce cardamom. I think I said it right. But it's really, really good. And there's the Mimi, one of the girls up there. She puts butter pecan syrup in it. Ooh,
Mm,
honey child is so good,
I know it is.
so
That sounds
yummy.
good.
Like if they was close, then I'd be running up there tonight because I definitely need a drink. But I'm already tired, so I will really be tired. To
Okay.
get that butter, I'll be out. But anyway, so definitely want to shout them out. And then shout out my nonprofit project, Our Generation. Really trying to get some movement with that, wanting to really provide a hub for small businesses or entrepreneurs, especially young ones, to be able to have what they need to help grow their business, and not have to worry about the cost. So I am working towards that. If you would like to donate, even sponsor a business. If you have different things that you can offer, like tax services, accounting, bookkeeping, and just different things like that that you want to sponsor a business, please reach out. My website is projectourgeneration.org. So definitely check that out. And so I want to get into, so I went away last week, Monday. So I had a flight credit that I had. I'll just talk to you.
Okay.
It's like I feel weird, like you're sitting here, and then I'm like, should I look at her? Should I pretend she's not there? Like,
Nobody. Hey, we was gonna make it
I
work.
know,
It's
but
cool.
it's okay. No, but I'll talk to you. So I went to, I had a flight credit that I had to use,
Hmm.
and it had to be used before September 8th. And I was like, okay, I don't want to spend any extra money,
Okay.
but I need to use this because I was like, I'm not about to lose $200. Not a
Okay.
lot, but it's a
Right.
lot. I mean,
Hmm.
so I'm like going online trying to find a spot, and I literally went through because it was on Spirit. So I was going through the list to pick a place
Right.
that was in my $200 credit because I was not about to spend no extra money. And so I found Pensacola, Florida,
Okay.
which I have never been.
Okay.
And so I was like, yeah, I'll go there. And then I have Capital One, and I encourage people, once you're building your credit, definitely get a card that you use everything for, but always pay it off the following month because that does two things. One, it helps keeps you on budget. And two, you're building points. And so those points can be turned into, sometimes you can get cash, you can get flight credit, you can get hotels. So I was able to find, because I had built up points, I was able to get a room one night for almost free.
Okay.
So I ended up only spending like 80 some dollars for 2 nights, on the beach.
Ooh.
And it actually had a private beach too. It had free kayaking there, free paddle boards,
Oh
had a
wow.
pool, and so Monday morning, so I planned everything. So Monday morning, I woke up and I got really nervous, like anxious. And so I had to leave at like 6 in the morning. So I went to my daughter's room and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go. And she was like dead asleep. She was like, you better go, Bob. You better go. Don't do that. And then when I left and I went, and then when she texted me, she was like, why did you want to go? And I was like, I just got really anxious. So I've traveled by myself before, but I've always drove. Like I've gone to Chicago, I've gone to Ohio, um, but I've never flown. If I've flown, I've always met people for conferences. So I've always so that I don't know. It's just that kind of made me a little nervous.
Yeah.
And going somewhere that far and not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that was the best trip I have ever had. I didn't take any work with me, which I always take work. Even when I don't think I'm gonna do it, I take it. Like, why? Why are you taking it? So I didn't take any work with me. I just took this book, and I literally read this book. It's called Pause, Rest, Be Stillness Practices for Courage in Times of Change. When I tell you this book opened up so much of me while I was gone, so I started reading it, and it prompted me to start writing. Because one of the things in the book it said, especially being an entrepreneur, we a lot of times focus on we're multitasking. We're just always doing something.
Yes,
and so one of the things that I got out of this book, it says to access the wisdom that I need now, I must be still.
Yes.
I struggle with being still. And so being there almost kind of made me. There was no distractions I didn't have. And I literally did not talk to anybody. I didn't do no social media. I didn't answer anybody's messages. I may have did. Oh, that's fine. I may have did my daughter, just to tell them where I was at because I had this drink. It was called the Diesel. Girl, I sent it to my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, you about to be drunk?" I said, "I might end up floating in the ocean." So I'm about to tell y'all where my location is.
Don't do that.
Girl, that drink was strong. Like I'm pretty good with drinking, but I was like, wow, like this shit was strong as hell. But it was so good. But no, so just being able to, and I was able to walk to places. So I walked to the beach, walked to eat. Like when I tell you, I was so disconnected.
I need that. Yes.
It was such a beautiful experience. I was able to really like have some breakthroughs, like, dealing with, a lot of stuff. And I had mentioned this earlier, sometimes we forget where we came from, the struggles that we had, because we just learned to move past them.
Yes, we did.
And so what I was able to do with this book kind of opened me up to being still and really kind of looking at things. And then my mentor, like a few days before, I was having a moment and I was talking with him, and he was like, "Do you realize that earlier this year you had to have eye surgery again because you didn't know if you was going to be able to see?" I had like, not that I forgot, but I kind of forgot, and I was like, "You're absolutely right." Like so that really made me think. Like I need to go back and, I've been married twice, and so my daughter's dad, I was married to him for 14 years, and I really never processed. I thought about it and just kind of, it's just those passing thoughts that we have. But I literally wrote down everything from the time when I literally left him with, I started completely over. Like I had to get a studio. Me and my daughter lived in a studio. I only took a futon. I had to, and there was a walk-in closet.
Talking to me.
I had to make a little space for her to have her own little space. A friend of mine gave me a microwave. A friend of mine gave me like a TV, and it was one of those TVs. No, you're good. Like no, but like woo. Sometimes
I feel you.
I forgot how horrible that feeling was, and I felt alone, and I felt like I didn't have my family because they supported him, because I didn't leave from infidelity. I didn't leave because he was being abusive. I left because I wasn't happy. And people cannot understand that. You have to have had something. Now, I mean, there was some things that he did that I like. He did have anger issues. He would punch holes in the wall, but it wasn't, we could probably work through it. But I was 19 when I got married. I got married for the wrong reason. My brother was killed the same year that we got married. And I remember telling him, because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. And so divorce was and
Got
living
it.
together was not. You don't do that.
Yeah.
And so I remember my mother telling me, well, if you want to see your brother again, you better get right with God.
Mm.
And so I looked, I was like, all right, well, either you move out or we get married. That's
Okay.
literally what I told him. And he was like, well, I'm not leaving. So we got married. That's how we got married. So yes, we cared and loved each other, but it wasn't the type of love that needed to be that foundation of longevity. And so 14 years later, I felt, and even when I was writing, I felt like I was playing a role in a movie. Like I was living for everybody else's idea of what I should be. And then one day I had met somebody and it was like I snapped out of it and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like this is not me. Like I don't even know who I am. And we sometimes go through life living for other people and we don't realize that we're doing it because it becomes a habit.
Yes.
It becomes something that's a part of us. And then years continue to go by. You're like, I just wasted 14 fucking years. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
And I had to run. I had to leave at any cost. Like I didn't care. Like I literally threw all my clothes in my car. I went and lived with my brother for a little bit, and that didn't work out. I was like, oh no, we're not doing this. So I gotta find. I was, and so just to have those moments, and then really writing that out in those small details. Like being in that studio apartment, and having my daughter have to live in a closet because I wanted to make her own space. It's just like, damn. And look at me now. Look at my daughter now. Like, and that we had a really rough relationship, me and my daughter, because he played the victim. He didn't know why I left, and he felt, he would tell her that I broke the family up, and she was close to her dad, so she resented me because I didn't know how to tell her. Like, how do you tell, let alone tell an adult I left because I'm unhappy? Because they question that too. Well, if you're unhappy, that's not a reason. You should still stay. Like, no,
never.
Why would no? I'm not going to risk my happiness. Okay, I fucked up. I made a mistake. Abort mission. Like I should be allowed to do that. But to tell a 5-year-old that, like I couldn't tell her that. I just don't love your dad anymore. Like I had love for him, but not the type, again, not the type of love that was going to make it sustainable and show her that healthy. And so she was mad at me for, I want to say she's 18 now, and probably 16 to 17 years we struggled. Like she always looked at me like, why don't you tell me why you left? And because he always told her his version. But I didn't tell her because I didn't want to affect her relationship with him based on my own emotions.
Right.
And so as she got older, which was so hard to keep quiet, and now she sees certain aspects of him. And now I see certain things that was kind of prevalent back then, but wasn't the full scope. That, wow, I really dodged a bullet because he's so unstable right now. Like he lost the house that we lived in. He had to move in with his mom. Like he couldn't hold down a job. Like it was just all this stuff. And then I'm like, okay, so what the fuck, was I holding everything together? That's fucking exhausting.
Okay.
Like when I left, you just fell apart. Are you kidding me? So sorry, I feel like I'm on a real tangent right now.
No, because you know what, you are talking to me. That's what it is. Okay. I needed this.
But just to see where we're at, see where I'm at now, because I just, as hard as it was, I cried all the time just because I felt like, he would come. He even came and sat up front of my apartment, and I'm on my balcony. I look down and I'm like, I know that fuck is not him. I called him. What are you doing? Nothing. Yes, the fuck you are. You are sitting in front of my apartment. No, I'm not. So she's in there asleep, and I walked downstairs, and it was just a big mess. So just again, those small things that we forget. Even though it's painful, we need to remind ourselves for a brief moment, because by doing that, it gives us the courage of where we're at right now, because it's like, oh shit, I really pushed through that. So whatever I'm dealing with now, I got this. I have that courage within me, even though sometimes I feel like I can't do it anymore. But you felt that way last time, and look what you did.
Okay, you made it happen.
Now you're stronger than you was last time. So now you are 10 times even more so that you can do it. And so all of those things that we go through, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't being still. And that is my biggest thing right now, is I just need to not be so just moving so much. Like, and it's okay to say no. It's okay. And by the way, so Pure Leaf has a grant out right now. It's $2,000. I'll send you the link.
Yes.
And I'll put the link in my comments. It's for mothers, and their slogan is, I'm probably gonna get it wrong, but the premise behind it is it's okay to say no. Because us as mothers, we don't say no. My daughter today, she's at work. You are an adult and you work. You was having stomach issues and you wanted me to stop my day to come and bring you some noodles.
That is my daughter. She's about to be 18 in 2 months. That is
it
her.
does not stop. And you know what? I almost fucking did it. Because that's just my second nature. Then I was like, whoa, I have my own shit that I have to do. And if I make myself so readily available for other people just real quick like that, no wonder I'm so exhausted. No wonder I feel like I'm running around and I never feel like I can get caught up.
Right.
Because I allow other people to come in and take up that space that I should be utilizing at that moment. Because I multitask so much. Sometimes I feel like I didn't accomplish anything. But yesterday I have a friend of mine, so we're in the same business, Legal Shield, and so we was like, okay, we're gonna help hold each other accountable. So we're gonna make calls. Well, she works a full-time job, and she was like, I can do it on my lunch. All right, 30 minutes. I'm gonna text each other and say, okay, for 30 minutes, we're gonna stay focused on this one task. I got so much done in 30 minutes. I was like, I need to do this more often, like 30 minutes increments, even if it's just an hour, but we have to stay uninterrupted is a key.
I like it. Yes.
No distractions during that 30 to 40. So whatever it is, if it's only 15 minutes, imagine what we can do in 15 minutes versus what we do in an hour with distractions.
Yes.
I don't get shit done.
No.
So yeah, so that was my revelation.
Yes. And thank you for that message.
Girl, I came back so rested and relaxed. Like, it was just like, oh, I'm doing this shit every 90 days. Literally. Absolutely. I don't care what it is, even if it's a staycation, like even having a different environment.
Yes.
Like, when I came home, I was like, I don't want to be here. The environment just did something to you. So it's so important to change our environment sometimes, because we can get so stuck in our own little box that we almost need to be snapped out of it. Because again, we can become robots and we can just go, go through our day, just repetition doing stuff. And yeah. So enough about me and my little didn't plan on doing all that, but anyway. But so Ebony, I am so glad I'm so excited you're on my show. I met you at Damon's event that he had here. By the way, her coffee is so dope.
Thank you.
So good. And you roast your own coffee. That's fucking amazing.
Yes, thank you.
So just tell us a little bit about, yourself, and are you from here, and kind of what got you into roasting coffee?
Okay. So I am from here, born and raised, 317. So I got into roasting. So it's a story. So let me just tell you.
And that's why we're here. Well, you can talk to me. Like, you don't have to worry about looking at
okay.
Yeah. It's always a story.
Yes. So I was like 18 years old. It was a business class that I had to take in college. And the professor said one of the assignments that we had to complete by the end of the semester was we had to do a business plan. And so as she's talking, she was like, it can be time consuming. And I'm like, I'm 18. I'm like, time consuming.
Right.
Okay. So I'm like, let me find something quick. Went to Google and I said, business plan, easy, quick.
Wow.
And it was like, the number one drink in the world is coffee. I said, coffee it is.
Oh my God. That's so like, it's like you go down the list. Okay, that one.
Yes. Because I'm like, I'm 18. I got things I got to do.
Right.
And then I had a daughter. So, I was like, let me do coffee. So I'm like, and one thing she said, she was like, and when you get into this business, once you start your business plan, sometimes the best thing to do is you have to get in that field. So I said, okay, I've seen movies, coffee girl, I'll be the cute little coffee girl by the counter.
Absolutely.
So I found a coffee shop. Hubbard and Craven was my first coffee job. It was in Riley Hospital.
Okay.
And I loved it. I got to get up every morning, and the people, like, the energy was just, it was wonderful. We knew each other by name by this, after so long, and it's like, hey, Dr. Ruth, how was your vacation? What you doing? And it was just like, we became family.
I love that.
And I'm like, coffee.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So I'm 18. I just started doing different hospitality, customer service, and I got into coffee. And then I went to different coffee shops, and um, I did a business plan. Finally, y'all, 2018. I said I'm gonna get serious. It's time to
So
get
did you
serious.
do a
Let's do.
business plan for that class?
No, y'all,
You
I
did.
didn't even do it. It was so much. I didn't. I got caught
Yeah.
up in the coffee world that
Mhm.
and in the job, and I'm like 18 and I'm going to college. Like I was like, no, I didn't do it. Life happened, and so I ended up not finishing.
Okay.
But it did not stop. What I was doing. I still knew
Mhm.
I loved to be around people. I knew I loved to talk, and coffee was where it is. Like when people come in and I'm like, hey, good morning, welcome. What can I get for you?
Right.
Um, and it's just while we making that drink, you have that time to connect with them. So
Mhm.
it takes about 3 minutes to make a drink. So it's like I got 3 minutes to make this connection with you.
Mhm.
So I always like you look cute, or how was your day, or what's going on? But like, let's
Mhm.
put a smile on your face.
Right.
So I knew that was I wanted to be in hospitality, but again, I wasn't even stuck on coffee, but I love the coffee because of the energy. So I did go from coffee to, hotels, to just different things where I could be in the customer service industry and hospitality. So after so many years, I was like, a friend of mine was like, Ebony, you said you keep talking about coffee, sit down to do coffee, just sit down and make a plan.
Mm.
And so I said, all right, bro, let me get serious. You
Right.
right. So I sat down and he helped me and he talked me through it. And um, again, life happened. I was at a coffee shop at this time too. I was downtown at Buzzy's Coffee, and I was like, and then COVID happened,
Mm.
and COVID made me sit down.
Yes.
It made everybody sit
Yes, it
down.
did.
So I was like, now you can do it. 2020, it's been 2 years. You was 18. All this time went by, and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do this. So I
Mhm.
did the business plan. It took 2 years for me to do the business plan, but that was okay. You know what I mean? Because I learned a lot. I learned things that I didn't know before. I
Mhm.
educated myself. I did different things. So I finished the business plan and I looked at the financial part. I looked at the finances and I said, girl, what we gonna do? Okay, we gotta make a plan because them dollars ain't gonna just make
I
themselves.
know when you put that shit on paper, you like, oh well,
Yes.
damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I'm so glad I put it on paper because,
Mhm.
I would have got caught up and kept running around in the circle and never,
Mhm.
nothing would have ever happened. So I
Mhm.
said, okay, all right. So coffee shop is, that's not your time right now. So what you gonna do to make until coffee shop is your time?
Right.
So I was like, I don't want to grow because the soil here, you can't grow coffee here. So I
No.
was like, all right, can't do that. What's the
Yeah.
next thing after that? So they're roasting. Let's look into roasting.
Okay.
And then I started doing like months and months of research. I looked at different roasters and I said, okay, we're gonna start small at home and we just gonna go from there. And to be honest, I think that was like the best decision I made. Like I still wanna, coffee shop is not really like the end goal. That's like nothing that I'm thinking about because
Mhm.
roasting has really been like so it for me.
What is it about roasting that you love?
So with roasting, it does allow me just to kind of sit and focus on something. So
Mm.
that's my thing. Like I'm very hyper and I will
Yeah.
squirrel. There you go.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it allows me to really just kind of just focus on that because there does, it is time consuming. You
Mhm.
do have to stay focused. So I like that. And then it's like I'm in my own world. I turn on
Mm.
my music. I'm not in an office space. So I can turn on my music, blast it, and I'm roasting and I'm like, doing my thing and looking
Yeah.
at the timer. So it just allows me to just do what I like to do, which is just dance. Like I really get put it on. I set my timer and I'm just dancing
I
until
love
it's
it.
done. So I just love it. It just allows me to be free.
Mhm.
So yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
That's dope. So where can they find you at?
So you can find me on social media. It is YEE_coffee or on Facebook at Your Espresso Experience. Um, so at the moment, I am so revamp season is what I call it. And then in order to get the roaster, it does take time because I do want a large size roaster.
Mhm.
So I'm in like this in between stage, but you still gonna see me at events. I'm still gonna be out there. I'm still have my name. Um, so yeah, that's where you can find me. I'll let y'all know, as things happen. Y'all gonna be the first to know.
I love it.
So yeah.
Yeah. So if you could, anybody that's starting a business or what has been two things. One has been the most rewarding thing, and what has been the most challenging?
The most rewarding is the people that I've met, the connections, the resources, even like with P30 as you shouted out earlier, like they've really helped me along this journey so much. Like the support and love. I work at the coffee shop in the front, so like they definitely came in. Once I told them what I did, they were like they stepped up and they helped me, and they just what I mean. So the resources and people is definitely important. And I would just say the most challenging is sometimes life happens, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And within our business, like when I first did the business, I did do a business plan, but you know what I mean? I had to sit back and rethink things. So when I decided I wanted to do roasting, I just went for it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I would say the most challenging is like the word of the day is being still and
Mm-hmm.
writing that out and putting your systems into place because
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. I feel like that's one thing that was hard for me because I was like, I want to roast, so I bought a roaster and I bought some coffee beans and I just started roasting, but I didn't think
Yeah.
as everything else. So that is the most challenging. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you like when you do take that time to step back, you like, okay, was people gonna forgive me? Or you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I don't want it to like leave, but I didn't. You know what I mean? I still put time into my business
Mm-hmm.
every day, all day. I still make connections. So yeah, those are the rewarding and challenging
And I
times.
always reference Boomy Hair Care. She has her hair care, and she last year I had her on my show, and she rebranded 5 times.
Mm,
And she stuck with it regardless. But you do have those feelings where like, oh, are they going to forgive me? Are they going to be like, oh,
yeah,
but she rebranded? Maybe is it a trusted
right.
product? You kind of, people out there always got something to say.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can push through that, she's now in Walmart. Two products are in Walmart
Yes.
right now, and so I'm gonna have her on my show the end of next September, which is 2 days away. I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
But just to have her back to be able to see how that process and that she stuck with it and it's so worth it. One other thing, what has this journey done for you personally, like on the inside?
Oh wow, that's deep.
You know,
um, the journey.
sometimes my OGs need a little deep. Trying to elevate my show.
Yes, okay, because you definitely you hit me with that one. But that's okay. So I would say for me internally, it has definitely it's awakened me. It let me know like what I need to let go, what I need more of. It allowed me not just in business, you know what I mean? It'll let me know like more personal things about me. Like I would have never thought that I like roasting, you know what I mean? I found out that I want something that makes that I'm more free at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've learned I don't even I mean that's probably it. I don't know. Internally you hit me with it.
Yeah,
So
well, maybe that's
you
something
got me digging. That's a
maybe
good
that's something you could
question.
think about, because
Yes.
I think sometimes we go through these journeys and, we focus on other things, but like what it develops us as people
Yes, it does.
because of the different things that we have to go through.
Yes.
It, like you said, it allows us to see things about ourselves that we may not even like.
Yeah.
We may not didn't know we was procrastinating,
Yeah.
or we
I learned that. I definitely
we
did.
probably thought we maybe, but sometimes we don't see it on a different level, or
Hmm.
maybe we realize that we avoid conflict that we didn't know, or
That is a
speaking
good
up,
one.
or
Yes.
using our voice, or maybe we are more timid.
That
Maybe
is
the
a good one.
confidence, so those
Yes.
different things. And I say that because I've gone through all that,
Yes.
where
I
I
didn't even
thought
think
I've
that
been
deep.
confident, but
Hmm.
then when you put me in a certain scenario, why am I not telling y'all about my business?
Yeah.
And why am I not doing it with posture?
Yes.
Because maybe my belief in what I do is not as strong as it should be.
Hmm.
And in turn, when we're pitching it or talking it to other people, they're going to get that from us.
That is so true. Yes, I
Yeah.
do agree. So I will have to say I definitely have learned to speak up. That
Yeah.
was one of my challenges. I would say before it's kind of like I was very timid. It's like, yeah, I'm a coffee roaster and I want to travel barista and
Bro, you
you know
better
what I mean. You know what I mean. So I would do that, and
yeah.
then as time went on, and I started like going to workshops and talking to people, I'm like, I am a coffee roaster. Your espresso experience. This is what it is. Like,
Absolutely. And
you know
people
what I
don't be
mean.
like, oh, I love your like
And they
what
love the energy
exact
and the
that part.
passion behind it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I've met so many people just by speaking up because there's been times like That's how I met Anthony Murdoch. Like I did a class with him and I went to one of his workshops. And normally I don't talk to people. I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. He don't have no time for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really say anything. But then I went up and I talked to him, and I was like, okay, Anthony, look at you, girl. You got this. So,
Yeah.
and after that, I talked to whatever, and if I'm gonna utilize my resources, I've learned that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And like you said, networking and putting yourself in scenarios where it's kind of forced, it's going to be uncomfortable. But in order to be moved forward, we have to be in
Yes,
uncomfortable
we do.
situations. I was on a Zoom last night with a $1 million mastermind, and one of the things that he was talking about is even though you're a millionaire, but you still have to have mentors. You
Yes.
still have to invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a process, and that's one thing that I will do is I will invest in myself. People might buy Gucci stuff. I'm going to invest in a program to where I'm being trained by someone that has made $1 million once a month, and they're bringing in special guests. Like last month, he brought in David Shands. He's
Mm.
a top podcaster. It's his podcast called Social Proof. Have you
Okay,
heard of
okay.
that?
I think so.
So to hear from him and be on a Zoom with him, like that was dope because that's gonna help me learn a little bit things that I need
Yes.
to do with my podcast. Adding some elements that I may have forgot. Like I'll struggle with titling my podcast, like titling my interviews. Because he made a point. He said when you title, you want to make sure that you're searchable. So you have to
Mm.
put keywords in there that are going to be searchable. And so
Mm.
I am so quick. Okay, I'm about to post this. I'm about to do this,
Yeah.
but I gotta slow down a little bit. And I don't even re-listen to my shows. But now I'm gonna have to re-listen to them a little bit so that I can pull out those points and those keywords that people might search when they go to YouTube. Because we all have gone to YouTube and searched stuff.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. I'm over here
No.
trying to tailor my title to the person, which is good.
Yeah,
I can
but
put that in the
yeah.
description. But for the
Yes.
title, it needs to be.
That's
See,
smart.
so
I like
exactly,
that.
and I didn't even think about that. But if I wouldn't have put myself in a situation or invested in myself to put myself in rooms with
Mm-hmm.
somebody that has done it
Absolutely.
and people that have done your industry, let them teach you. Why reinvent the
Yes.
wheel?
Yes.
I'm not about to reinvent shit.
No.
Like if you have the game plan and the strategy, please,
Mm-hmm.
and you're willing to tell me, and I might have to pay some money for it,
That's all
but it's
right.
going to speed up my process.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And then
So it
people want
could
to mess with you when you're educated and you're knowledgeable about your service and product. So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep. So I have so enjoyed
Yes.
you. Anything else you want to tell the people?
No, just follow me, keep up your espresso experience.
Now, can
Ye.
they hire you to come in at events?
So, at the moment, I will do events. So I'll do coffee events. Um, yeah, we'll just
Okay.
say that. Yes,
Okay.
I
Okay.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think you had the way you had your setup here was dope.
Oh, thank you.
And so yeah.
So yeah, and then I do cold brew. So look out for the cold brew.
Okay.
For you that don't know, it's
I think I did do
you
the
had
one.
the cold
Yes,
brew.
and I'm not a cold brew person. I
Yes.
usually get it hot. But I had that and it was really good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
keep a lookout for that. It's smooth and it has like a little chocolate flavor.
Yes, I
So
love it. Yes,
yeah.
you're dope. So thank you
Thank you.
again,
Thank
and I'm
you.
excited to have you back on because I feel that it's important for people to see what they've accomplished. So my goal is to have people on 6 months to a year. So
Okay.
plan on. So put a little heat under you. So that means when 6 months to a year, you need to be in a different place.
I'm gonna be there.
And I believe
This
you
is
will.
y'all ready? This is old Ebony, okay? In 6 months, gonna be a new one here.
But no, but it is dope because it shows the people the growth. But then
Yes.
it's we don't see the growth in ourselves,
Okay.
and it's so important for us to be able to see that. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you. I
Thank
know you was
you.
nervous, but you did
Yes.
amazing. So yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. So this has been Melissa Shaw with Our Generation, where we educate, empower, and inspire, and hopefully you have been educated, and empowered and inspired. And I want to leave you with a few things. Um, as we, as you are growing and on your journey with your business, don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to connect yourself with people that are at a higher level. I know for me personally, I want to surround myself with people that either are at my level or above my level. I want to be able to learn things and always be willing to learn and be coachable because we don't know everything. And also use your resources and look, there's so many resources out there. Like, for example, I offer Legal Shield, which Ebony does have.
Yes.
And it's so important for us to feel empowered to be able to know that we can call our law firm and be able to have our questions answered, documents reviewed, and just walk through a process of being able to feel like, yeah, you're not about to mess with me because
Okay.
one second I'm about to call my lawyer.
I'm about.
Please hold. I mean, but let me ask you real quick. So, has it made you feel a little bit more confident in certain situations? I love it.
I'm always saying, let me get my lawyer on the line.
No, absolutely. So for real, like it makes people think like you playing. No, the fuck I'm not.
Yes.
Like you gonna get a letter, see what happens.
Okay.
Or get a phone call, see what happens. But it is a dope thing. And so tomorrow I'm actually doing a will workshop here from 6 to 7:30.
Okay.
And it's going to be a will workshop in estate planning, and then I'm also bringing somebody in to talk about insurance, like life insurance, because us as business owners, we can focus so much on our business. We're building a brand, we want to build a legacy and generations to come to benefit from what we're doing. But if we don't protect it and something happens to us, guess who's going to decide?
Yes.
The government.
Exactly.
And we don't want that. And so I have a recording of some lawyers that are going to talk about, the importance of having a will, and not even, the DIY. We always try to do shit on our own.
Okay.
But sometimes that's not always right. That's not always good because it may not fit your personal situation. When we DIY stuff, it's just a blanket information that we get. But our situation, we might have a blended family. We might have, not being married, or we living with somebody, and we think we're protected. He uses an example of somebody where he was engaged to his fiance. He ended up dying. She had to leave the house that they was in because there was no will.
Oh man.
And she had to sell the house and split the house with his kids, the money with his kids, and she was homeless. We don't think about that stuff. And we move too fast. And so we being still and really paying attention to those fine details. So that's what I'm here for, is to help those, to bring y'all back around and be like, okay, this is great, but let's not forget this component of it. So we make sure, and you get a free will.
Yes.
So you can go on your app. Do you have your app down?
I have the app.
So go on your app and say will, and you fill it out, and they will call you. Probably either that day or the day after, and once you'll get it within 7 days.
Oh, okay.
And if you have, or you can't answer any questions, like you don't understand something, they'll answer it for you and help you work through it.
Oh,
yeah, it's a dope.
I will definitely do that.
And you get a medical power of attorney and a financial power of attorney, medical directive, all of that. Because you don't want people, when they're in a crisis, you don't want them to have to make any decisions.
Right.
Because when we are in a situation, we become reactive.
Yes.
And it's not fair to our loved ones to put them in a situation. Now you got to decide whether I want to be left on life support or not.
Right.
Let's have that discussion now when we're all in a good frame of mind. And you may say, hey, I want you to have my children. What if they don't want your children? You think they're good. They may not be. After you die, they'll be like, oh, well, I don't want them. And then what happens? The state gets them.
Yes.
And even single moms, we think, oh, it might go to the dad, but it might not.
You never know.
Yep. So just making sure that you're protected. So again, I hope y'all, I feel like I've been on the tangent. How never going? Okay, 38 minutes. See, I be trying to do 25, but I keep going over. Okay, so 40 minutes, but that's okay. Well, thank y'all for listening, and I appreciate you, and you are doing amazing things, and I cannot wait to continue watching your progress.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So y'all check me out on Facebook, Melissa Shaw, and Instagram, Our Generation 19, and YouTube is Project Our Generation, and then my website is projectourgeneration.org. Y'all have a good one. Peace. Watch me not be able to do this. See, this is always at the end of my shows. Always, always, always.